the kind of person you're dealing with here. I recently put both of my hands in the bin in a public bathroom because I thought it was a Dyson Airblade. That's where I am. Second, you might look at me and think that I look like a kind of anime librarian. Or a troublingly erotic CBeebies presenter. And it's more complicated than that, but you're close enough. No, actually, what I do, in fact, is this, stand-up comedy. But I'm well aware, I'm painfully aware that that doesn't sound like a real thing that people do. It doesn't count, does it? To the extent that whenever I tell someone that I'm a comedian, I feel like I must be lying. I feel like, to my mind, they've asked me what I do, and they've already made some judgments based on the way I look. So, librarian, obviously, substitute teacher, not a real teacher, she hasn't got the gravitas, but a substitute. Maybe this woman looks like she's got quite a good typing speed. And or a very small niche OnlyFans. Jokes on them, I'm terrible at admin. And then I had the audacity to say, actually, that Jimmy Carr, I do exactly the same thing as him. Except instead of at the Apollo, I do it in a gastropub in Bath. Next to a corned off pool table. And except, of course, I write my own material. And pay my taxes. Jokes. Never earned enough to pay taxes. But it's true, it's what I do. Also, sometimes worse than that, I will tell a man that I do stand-up comedy. Yeah, don't do that. I'll tell a man that I do stand-up comedy, and not in so many words, but basically his response will be, a comedian? But you're a woman! Okay, 1, sexist, 2, gender essentialist, 3, he says it like I might not have noticed. Like I'm going to suddenly go, whoa, bloody hell, you're right, actually. Sorry about that, I thought I was wearing my backpack the wrong way around. I'll immediately go and do something more feminine. I'll go make you a sandwich in my underwear. Sorry, I mean I'll go in my underwear to make him a sandwich. I don't mean I'll make him a sandwich in. It'd be a health and safety nightmare, wouldn't it? Yeah, I do that. I'm also by day a children's entertainer. So professionally, I run the whole gamut of human experience. On the one hand, I'm used to performing in front of audiences who are crying, screaming, puking sometimes, wetting themselves, having a little breastfeed. And on the other hand, as I said, I'm a children's entertainer. That was an obvious, but somehow unavoidable. Now, there are a couple of differences I've discovered between being a stand-up comedian and being a children's entertainer. The most obvious one to me, though, is the heckling. Like when an adult heckles you, okay, it's boring, it's annoying, it can be hurtful. When a child heckles you, they will rip you apart. They are brutal. My character as a children's entertainer is a wizard, so I'll do some nice little interactive stories and then some simple magic tricks. And you have not experienced imposter syndrome until you've been faced with a room full of 7-year-olds screaming in your face, "You're nothing but a fake! You're not real!" It's not even you're not a real wizard, it's just you're not real. So I'm standing there with a scoopful of bicarbonate of soda in one hand and a potion bottle full of vinegar in the other, having a full-on existential crisis and thinking I wish that this was a comedy club and that I could single out the ringleader of the circus and tell them to fuck off. I have to sing him happy birthday. might say to me, Chrissy, if this is the case, why do you carry on being a children's entertainer? If the heckling gets this bad, why do you subject yourself to it? And there are 3 reasons for that, because that's how comedy works. One for the comedians, thanks. 1, look at me. Do I look like the kind of person who has historically made good life choices? No, I chose this outfit. 2nd, it's a job that I can do, and I need a job to fund my hobby, which is not starving to death. And 3rd, the most important reason is actually I love it. I love working with kids. I think that they're completely unfiltered. That's why they're so good at heckling, because they have 0 filter, and I warm towards kind of weird, unfiltered people. To give you an example of this, once when I was being a wizard doing my children's entertaining, a little girl full on launched herself at me, like head down, elbows out, proper rugby tackle style. But I thought, she's 4 years old and skinny, I could probably take this bitch in a fight. So I stood my ground, And in the end, she didn't barrel into me like I thought she was going to. She stopped just short of me, held out a little closed fist, slowly opened it to reveal a half-eaten cocktail sausage, whispered, "Sausage," and ran away. She won't remember that, but that's the best interaction I've ever had with anyone in my life. I've actually got a kid of my own. Yeah, it's wonderful. I love being a parent. I really love having a kid. I think it is so moving being able to watch this screaming potato gradually blossom into a weirdly dependent flatmate. The thing though about being a parent is that you find that you put so much of your energy, so much of your life into parenting, that when it's time to stop parenting, it's really hard to turn it off. You do find yourself pointing out moo cows to strangers. Worst qualities that ever happened to me was my partner at the time, he had a friend round, so this was 2 guys in their late 30s, kicking back, playing cards in my living room. And let me tell you, it really does change the whole vibe of an evening. When you go up to your long-term romantic partner and his friend, who you don't know very well, lean over them and say, "Will Mummy get you a drink?" I had to have a threesome that night just to save face. You've been absolutely brilliant. I unfortunately have been Chrissy Derbyshire. Thank you. Sorry, please.
Chrissy Derbyshire, everyone.